Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Mr. Wilkie's tutoring videos. Today we're going to be talking about what are quadratic functions in equations and what are their forms. We're going to look at their forms very briefly, but I have a few other videos that shows each form of the quadratic equation and what specifically is included in that form. But today we're really going to focus on this term quadratic. And that's as opposed to what we've looked at in the past, which were linear functions. Okay, so earlier in Algebra 1, we talked about linear functions. Now we're going to talk about quadratic functions. And the big difference is the parent function for a quadratic is going to be, and remember the parent function is the simplest form of the function. So the parent function for a quadratic is going to be just as simple as it gets. F of x equals x squared. So what makes a quadratic function quadratic is this thing right here. Okay, that squared term. Okay, that's what makes a quadratic function quadratic. So really, if we're looking at the easiest definition of what a quadratic function is, it's going to be a function where the largest exponent for an x term is 2. Okay, so where a square is the largest exponent over an x term, it's got to be over the x. Okay, over 4 doesn't make it quadratic. Over an x term. All right, and so what also makes a quadratic function iconic is going to be really the graph. And the reason the graph makes this thing more iconic than usual is because it has a very particular shape. And while we can do a lot of things to this shape, it still maintains the same general shape. Okay, so let's look at an example of a quadratic function. F of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this in Desmos. And we're going to take a look at this graph. So here's the graph in Desmos. Let me zoom in. Okay, there's the graph in Desmos. And you can see here, I have the function typed in exactly as I see it. And here's my graph. Okay, it gives you this kind of curve on it. Okay, this curve. If we zoom out, we can see it goes up and up and up and up and up forever and ever. Okay, but when we zoom in, okay, you can see the bottom of this curve stops somewhere and then it goes up forever. Okay, so that's kind of the iconic curve. And so this curve is called a parabola. Okay, the term for that curve is a parabola. Sorry, I don't know how to spell. It's a parabola, yeah. And the parabola is just the shape, okay, the shape the graph makes. And it could be up or it could be down. Both of these are examples of parabolas. Doesn't matter where the curve, it's the shape of a quadratic function graphed. Okay, so the parabola is the shape of a quadratic function graphed, and it's this iconic curve here that you get, whether it's open up or open down. Okay, it's that curve shape you get, and that's what makes quadratics quadratic.